Thanks for watching Wednesday Debate Live with Taghrit Hussein here on Nile TV International. Tonight we'll be talking Egypt's new republic and the strategy concerning comprehensive development. The steps towards the new republic, as we all know, are important milestones that are actually constituting a leap in the different performances, the government's performance development, and also in the upgrading of the work mechanisms at the various levels. With absolute determination and a solid will, and also with people's cohesion with the leadership, Egypt is able to overcome the various challenges by establishing security and stability, as well as restoring Egypt's position and role in the region, the African continent, and also the entire world. Well, among the most remarkable achievements of the new republic is the fact that the economy has restored its normal levels and also good growth rates. Overall, we have a comprehensive structural reform of the national economy that has been achieved, and definitely the efforts that has been exerted mainly to change the face of life in the country and to achieve equality of life for the Egyptian people. Tonight, I'm having all the honor and pleasure to have with us our distinctive political analyst, Dr. Vivian Morcos. Dr. Morcos, thank you so much for coming to Nile TV tonight.
It's my great pleasure to be with you and in Nile TV.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vivian. And with Dr. Morcos, we are going to be talking about the impact of development in Egypt's future. And as an Egyptian expat, Dr. Vivian Morcos will be also telling us more about the efforts of the Egyptian Ministry of Immigration vis-a-vis the endeavors in order to improve the conditions of the Egyptian expats worldwide. And this is actually very important, that the expats would have this sense of belonging with their mother country. And having this as tonight's episode, we'll be watching more concerning a report that sheds light on the success to have a reliable destination for foreign and direct investments. And we'll be back.
A report issued by the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development confirmed that Egypt is the first investment destination in the African continent, highlighting the fact that Egypt is a reliable investment destination according to international reports. Despite the challenges faced by the country and the surrounding global variables, Egypt has made significant strides in attracting foreign direct investment, particularly in green economy projects which serve as a fundamental pillar of sustainable development. In this regard, the government has adopted strategies that leverage available resources and opportunities to create an attractive and stimulating investment environment. These efforts include supporting the private sector, streamlining procedures for investors, addressing legislative and institutional obstacles through reforms, and establishing necessary infrastructures. As a result, Egypt has solidified its position as an attractive investment destination in Africa and the Arab world, gaining international recognition for its investment endeavors. In this context, the Media Center of the Cabinet released a report featuring infographics that shed light on the UNCTAD report, which confirms Egypt's ranking as the top investment destination in Africa for 2022. The report underscores Egypt's reliability as an investment destination according to international assessments. Egypt's consistent efforts to attract foreign direct investment and promote sustainable development have yielded remarkable results. It's worth mentioning that the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development is a permanent international governmental organization established by the United Nations General Assembly. Its main objective is to provide technical support to assist developing countries in utilizing trade, investment, finance, and technology for comprehensive and sustainable development.
Egypt, the mother of the world, and it is going to be as great as the whole world. Those were the president's words, Dr. Vivian, and we have actually worked on that important motto. And worldwide now, after 10 years of progress, in your view as one of our renowned expats living abroad, let me say that you're witnessing yourself how the world today is viewing Egypt as a country and its people.
Yes, of course. As the president said, he has been working on his promises. He has been working internally and externally to a level that Egypt would go to the place where it should be, where it should have been and where it will always be. And he developed all the relations with all the countries all over the world, especially Africa, that was a bit neglected, and renovating all the ties with Africa and improving these ties in the aims of having the best trade, inter-African trade, along with all the dreams he has for all Africa, and he's working on the means to do it.
Yes.
Either by maritime ways, by trains, by planes, by everything, by helping Africa, by being the big brother that Africa should really rely on, and all the relations with all the world. And everybody all over the world, when they come and visit Egypt and see all the infrastructure that is built in Egypt, it's very impressive. Because none of this has been happening anywhere in the world. Even the most advanced countries, they dream of having a bit of this infrastructure done in their places and renovating it. I know that some countries now are just planning to renovate the old roads that have been built a long time ago. But here we have a very impressive way of building the roads and the infrastructure, and which help, in a way, the trade, which helps the youth to work, which helps in every way. Sometimes some people would think, why are we doing all that? But what's behind all that is great. Because in every way, when you build all these roads, everything is more easy between the country itself and all the investors who want to come. The first thing they see, how am I going to commercialize my product?
Yeah.
Do I have infrastructures that would take things from here to there for the investors? All the important things are here for them.
Yes.
So the president doesn't stop, even in the worst of crises. We remember when we had the corona, all the countries all over the world, they stopped. But Egypt didn't stop. We have been working, we have been, the industries have been working with rotations, with precautions and everything. And we succeeded in overtaking this time in the best way possible.
Yes, Egypt had actually ranked among the largest destinations vis-à-vis the attraction for foreign direct investments. As you've said, Dr. Morcos, that we've been working hard in that respect. We have Egypt's foreign direct investment, FDI, had recorded actually an increase in the first quarter of the fiscal year, this fiscal year. So if we're talking about the implementation of a number of incentives in order to attract foreign direct investment to the country.
First of all, the taxation, they worked a lot on the taxation, how to make it attractive to all the investors to come, how to alleviate the taxes that they pay against all their investment, how they're giving them the facilities of opening all the new investment projects in a very fast way, breaking all the rules and the bureaucracy time that used to take a long time before. And of course, let's say, and the devaluation has helped a lot, because you have a country that gives you a lot of return for the same amount of dollars that you spend somewhere else, and it gives you more return. So the devaluation has helped in a bit in this way. So, and as I said, infrastructure is one of the major important points in an investor evaluation of is it worth it to invest in this country or not.
Yes.
And let's not forget as well the facilities of spreading all the products for the investment that you do through Suez Canal. You have the routes that will take all these products around the world from the Suez Canal. So
Yes.
it's much easier to be established in Egypt, in the Suez Canal area, as well as we know that they are developing a free zone and an industrial zone around the Suez Canal, so people would come and The industries would work instead of other countries to save money and time, so they do it from here directly, and they use the Suez Canal to spread it all over the world.
Yes.
So it's been a very well thought way of investing in Egypt in the best way possible that will give a bigger return for the investor.
Yes.
So it's very attractive.
Yes, we've seen more than one important initiative concerning reforms that included the new companies law, the new investment law, also the new customs law. We have also the field of cyber security, talking digital signature, also data protection law. The country has been leading also the fact of a digital transformation efforts and strategy in order to facilitate and to develop the different industries. We've been working, as Dr. Morcos said, on the Suez Canal industrial zone. This in addition also to the Arab industrial zone in Burj Al Arab zone in Alexandria and more. So Egypt has a great potential in order to attract foreign direct investment. We'll be talking about that shortly after the break. Our dear guest is the distinguished political analyst, Dr. Vivian Morcos. We're talking further how to attract foreign direct investment. Dr. Morcos, as we were speaking, that actually Egypt's location, its geographic location, is very distinctive, and
of course,
this actually was a gem, a launching pad for more pacts and more sense of international cooperation because of this distinctive location as well.
Certainly, not just the distinctive location and the distinctive population as well, and the determination of the president of the country. He is really determined to have an Egyptian successful Egypt. And the youth, we've never seen any youth as emancipated and succeeding in so many areas except at this era. We see them in sports, in inventions, in education, in every way. So the location, of course, we are in the middle, in the heart of the world, and the civilization that we gave to the world. And in every way, Egypt is the gem of the world, as you just said. And the fact that you have the Suez Canal as well is one of the most important way of trade at the time being, because Panama has some problem of dryness there. So a lot of direction come to Egypt and to use Suez Canal as well. So it's the heart of the world, the biggest country in Africa, one of the biggest countries, not the biggest, but the most successful in its population. You have a lot of successful in every way.
Your treasure, you know, how to turn the sense of population as a point and an asset of strength. And this is definitely what the president has worked on, like Bina al-Insan, building the human character.
Actually, I called President Sisi a man who touches sand and transforms it into gold. He has such a vision of how to make everything successful around him. Because he is a president who wasn't scared to start. When he took office, he started working in all the sectors of the country. Usually any president would just choose one sector and just work on it until it's finished and then starts another sector. Which gives some presidents just don't touch any other sectors. But he worked in all fields in the Egyptian life, and to make it all work to the same aim, to make it very successful. So it's a great sense of how to make things work.
Yeah.
So, and he's succeeding. Well, the fact that we had some problems all over, global problems like the corona, like the war, like all that, wasn't beneficial for us. It would stall any success anywhere in the world, as we have seen all over the world. A lot of countries have suffered the repercussion of all these big problems that the world is facing. But despite all that, we are continuing. And despite all we see that a lot of people finding Egypt more attractive than any time before.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to come and live here, want to be part of here, want to be part of the history of Egypt. So we are facing so many things, and we're continuing.
Yeah.
With the sense of the president, because you have to have a president who is strong, that the whole population are following. It's true, everybody has problems, but we are following him unconsciously and passively because we trust him. Other people we would have had, we've seen some revolution all over the world again, but we are resisting all that because there is this trust. Under all the problems that we're having, there is this trust, this deep trust in this man. Because he took a lot on his heart to face a lot of problems, and we're following him.
Yes, definitely. Well, leadership, transformation, and following by example. Egypt today is actually expected 1 million visitors for a beautiful festival that is being held in Al Alamein, and that is actually something very interesting because it makes not only an Egyptian interest but a worldwide interest, especially during summertime, where we find that there are many attractions in the whole world and they are targeting amusement and a sense of entertainment. How do you see, Dr. Morcos, such events? How do such events actually contribute, in your opinion, in branding Egypt globally? How do you see that?
First of all, it's very good because we will be receiving a lot of dollars, which will help in a way the shortage of dollars and all that. But when you think of it really, Al Alamein has a memory of war. It's a war zone. It's a war zone that was famous for its landmine and this famous war of Alamein, and all that has been transformed into a peaceful, beautiful city, very attractive, the most recent, the most up-to-date buildings, and this is, I think, on its own, it's very interesting for people and curious for people to come and see what is this place that was a war symbol who becomes a very beautiful symbol of tourism and leisure center.
Yes.
In its own, I think it's marvelous this way, and of course, President Sisi just didn't build anything, just normal thing there. He just built the best. So it should attract the best population who wants to live there, and the best of the Egyptian as well who wants to live there, and would erase the memory of landmine, because I've been living in Geneva at the time where landmine, the ambassadors were trying to solve the problem of landmine with everybody, and no one could imagine one day that we will not have any more landmine in this area and we'll be building the best beautiful place on earth.
Yes, definitely. Well, from actually achieving this sense of millions visiting Al Alamein, and this is the target, and Egypt is definitely marketed globally all around the world, to the sense of integration and Egypt's role in Africa, that we have been actually working very hard to be in the heart of Africa, and Egypt returning back to Africa. Last June, the President had urged the member states in the COMESA, the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, to exert more efforts in order to achieve a sense of regional integration and achieve the development in the African continent. So we've actually worked a lot, especially after the Egyptian year of achievement of the African Union.
African Union,
Yes,
of the presidency.
Yes. And the presidency of the African Union. So Africa, Egypt has always been in the heart of Africa, and Africa is in Egypt's heart.
Of course, and let's see, when President Sisi was presiding the year of African Unity, he did all the best to involve all the African leaders in so many meetings, in so many areas, in so many conferences to discuss the future of Africa. And we see now that the attitude is very different, and we are really, all the African leaders want to follow the road to be the best in the world, because we know that Africa has the best resources in mines, in gold, in diamond, in everything. So why not? They should be the best in every way, in industries and trade and everything. So this has been triggered by all the efforts of President Sisi. Of course, there was some efforts before, but the implementation of all the hard bit to make out of it a real thing is happening now. So we've seen that there is a lot of work of infrastructure by Egyptian companies in so many areas of Africa. And just few days ago in Ivory Coast, a big firm, engineering firm, has taken the job of making the bridge in Ivory Coast. And we've seen the Tanzanian dam.
Yeah.
We've seen, I mean, everywhere, even in Ethiopia, we have a lot of Egyptian investment there. Everywhere in Africa where Egypt can do something, they do it, and they do it with pleasure in order to make the African unity a real thing,
Yes.
not just on paper. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, definitely Africa is very important. Egypt's presence in Africa and the Egyptian achievements in Africa. From that file to a very important file, which is paying special attention to our expats abroad. And Dr. Morcos, being an expat herself, we're going to know from her more about the endeavors that has been undertaken by the Ministry of Immigration in that respect. Great efforts has been exerted in order to keep this sense of belonging and contact with the motherland. And also through not only investments of expats here, but also through soft power and the exchange of different visits and more. We'll be discussing this file right after this report.
Minister of Immigration Soha Gindi discussed with President of the Texas Medical Board Sharif Zafaran how to further integrate Egyptian doctors working abroad into the American state Texas in order to benefit the Egyptian medical system. Minister Soha Gindi started the meeting by praising the role of Egyptians abroad in various fields and their keenness to return the favor to Egypt, highlighting their support to the Egyptian state by supporting the Egyptians abroad along with providing them with medical service and healthcare. Minister Soha Gindi stated that the government is keen to open horizons of cooperation between the scientists, experts and various state institutions, especially in the health sector, highlighting the effective participation in serving the country and supporting national initiatives launched by the political leadership. In this regard, Her Excellency underscored the cooperation with the Ministry of Immigration and a number of civil society groups, affirming that the experience of Egyptian doctors abroad is beneficial to the country's medical services. For his part, Zafaran welcomed cooperation with the ministry in order to better serve patients and exchange experiences. He also praised Egypt's efforts to develop its health institutions. Pointing out that a large number of Egyptian doctors are members of the International Association of Medical Regulatory Authorities, Zafaran affirmed the importance of coordination between institutions regulating medical sectors, adding that as many as 14 medical faculties in different Egyptian universities have obtained the license required by the Texas Medical Board to operate in the state. He affirmed that there is also a room for cooperation and coordination with Egyptian authorities to allow the rest of medical faculties in Egypt to obtain the board's license. Gindi pledged to submit Zafaran's proposals to set a cooperation framework with the board to the Ministers of Health and Higher Education, as well as a number of governors.
بينا الحدود نسير
Yes, we're back, and yes, this is the sense of bond between Egypt, the mother of the world, and our dear expats living abroad. Dr. Morcos, yes, this sense of bond, this sense of communication, how to make how to make the important and the benefit of this treasure, namely Egyptian expats abroad, and keep this sense of belonging, of course, with the motherland, also their contribution to the many projects here, to different events, soft power events. I remember that whenever we go abroad, we always listen to our famous Egyptian patriotic songs whenever we're there. So it's Egypt is always on our mind while we are away, and also in our hearts. How is that?
Of course, of course. For me personally, of course, I live in Egypt while I'm abroad. So all my life, my feelings, my food, even my children, my grandchildren, all that, they know. They say we're Egyptian. They're proud, and they try to speak a few words. And this sense of belonging, it's a big role of the parents first, and they have to work on it. Not everyone has the time to do it, but really they should find the time with all the love that they have for Egypt. Sometimes they don't have time to spend it to make this bond continue. But most of the Egyptians abroad, they adore Egypt, and all their families do. And what helps more now, the embassies are more helpful in doing things for the Egyptian in every way, the passport, the registration, and all that. That's the treasure of this bond. The embassies and the consulates, they make it much easier, and when you go and register your grandchildren and all that, it's so important for the parents, and it's much easier now than before. The mentality has changed. The mentality has changed. I think it goes with the mentality of the openness of the leadership and all the rules and roles, because you know that the bigger we are, the more we achieve more. If all the Egyptians abroad have this same bond with Egypt, of course they will buy houses, they will come, they will spend money. A lot of things are happening following this love and bond to Egypt. It helps Egypt in every way. You'll transfer all your money here, you make your investments here. So from the people's point of view, that's what they do. From the government point of view, they are doing a great job in improving the way to and facilitating all the way of registration and continue the bond with Egypt. And of course, all the meetings that the Minister Soha is doing to improve this relation, and using all the because most of the Egyptians abroad are very successful.
Yes, they are. Especially also the Egyptian doctors are doing great. In your eyes also as a physician yourself, how do you see this sense of cooperation? The Ministry of Immigration has been very much keen to keep eye-to-eye coordination with our doctors abroad, that they would come and visit here our hospitals, and that there will be a sense of coordination and cooperation in that respect.
It's wonderful. Actually, they should make an open volunteering list to all the doctors who would like to volunteer and come, and the times of volunteering. They'll have a lot of people who will register and would be very happy to come and help in social welfare, in working for a week or two or a month or two, the holiday month, to work here for the Egyptian Ministry of Health. And they all know each other because they are always in the conferences. We have a lot of very successful Egyptian doctors working from Egypt and presiding all the associations, worldwide associations for urology, they are Egyptians who are presiding that, and some of cardiology. They take rotation, and they are very well famous. Or my Egyptian colleagues, they're all very, very, I love them. They're very famous. They raise our flag very high.
Yes.
And there is a very nice contribution between doctors outside and inside through the conferences, and would be more if you just open a list of volunteering in all the embassies who, for a certain sector or a certain project, who would like to come and help that. So they'll find a lot to be more and more efficient as well.
Yes, we're talking also about the efforts of the Ministry of Immigration in that respect, and also in the field of training. How can we also benefit from the issue of training? Training young doctors is also very important.
Actually, when young doctors getting out of the Egyptian Faculty of Medicine are more trained than any of faculties of medicine all over the world, because you have a lot of people coming to the university hospitals where the student and the young freshers doctors deal with more than anywhere in the world. So they have already a great training. Now a better training would be outside with the more up-to-date use of things and all the updating of the medical health and sphere. But they love to take Egyptian doctors even without finishing all their training to be working all over the world, by the way. So
yes, so many investments in the people, not only attracting direct investments, but also investing in the people. We have also various incentives that are being provided to the Egyptian expats abroad in order to motivate them so that also they would keep a link with the home country, with our beloved Egypt. I thank you so much, Dr. Vivian Morcos, our distinctive political analyst tonight, for being with us here on the Daily Debate Live Wednesday with Taghreed Hussein. Thank you, Dr. Vivian, for coming.
It was my great pleasure.
Definitely, as one of our Egyptian expats and our ambassadors abroad, they are all raising the Egyptian flag very high. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you
Morcos.
very much. My great pleasure, and being with you especially.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
dear.
you.
And I thank you, dear viewers, for joining us. That was the Daily Debate for tonight, and I'm Taghreed Hussein. Many thanks for watching.